Hi, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got here.
Hi, my name is Shannon Carbone, and I'm the Public Information Officer for the 20th Judicial District Attorney's Office, which is made up of Boulder County. I came to Boulder in May of 2018. Prior to coming to Boulder, I worked in the 1st Judicial District Attorney's Office, which is the counties of Jefferson and Gilpin County, for over 25 years. During my time with the 1st Judicial District Attorney's Office, I held many different positions throughout the office. These positions included secretarial work, discovery work, and most notably being promoted to Special Projects and Personnel Administrator in 2011. The duties for the position included handling the day-to-day operations of the office, from human resource matters, grants, supervision, and budget management. I hold a bachelor's degree in business management. Throughout my career, working in the district attorney's office helped me develop many skills, abilities, knowledge, and experience. By having this background, it gave me specific and unique professional experience. In December of 2018, District Attorney Michael Doherty appointed me as Public Information Officer for the 20th Judicial District. Working as a public information officer in a district attorney's office is a unique role. You work directly for an elected official on a daily basis, as well as you interact with the media daily. There are many takeaways from working with the media, and it's important that our office has a good working relationship with them. Our office is transparent and committed to delivering the information accurately so the community has the facts. The press depends on us as a quick, reliable source of information. It is also important to be timely with the media as they have press deadlines. Mostly, the office will always get good press. However, occasionally, we may not. It's something you can't control, and in fact, by trying to do so, it makes it worse. Reporters have a job to do. I respect them for that and try to always give them something they can work with for a story. Something to keep in mind is to not underestimate how little reporters know, even crime reporters know, about the criminal justice system. You will often have to explain things like what a preliminary hearing is, that arrest charges are not formal charges, and that someone has to be arraigned before a trial date is set. Here in the DA's office, our office is bound by the Colorado Rules of Professional Conduct, specifically Rules 3.6 and 3.8, as well as other ethical restrictions. There are only certain things we can say or release to the media. When reporting to the media, stick to the facts as much as possible, as opposed to an opinion. For example, you can explain the person was arrested on such and such date, the defendant was charged with, and list the crimes. The next court appearance date is, the court sentenced the defendant to, and you list the sentence, and an investigation is in progress, or any information that is in the public record. Our office cannot say anything about character, reputation, credibility, or criminal record of the person, the possibility of a guilty plea, a confession, or refusal to make statements, and any other statement about evidence. In addition, we cannot say we have a strong case against a person, as that would impair someone's right to a fair trial.
And that's the bottom line here, isn't it? The reason that you can't say these things is the system then has to go out into the community and find impartial jurors. And if they've heard things from the district attorney's office, it could affect their ability to be impartial.
Absolutely. Yep. Our office must always include a statement that if a defendant is charged with a crime, the charge is merely an accusation and the defendant is presumed innocent until or unless proven guilty. There are times that a case can be under seal or suppressed. Any case that is under seal or suppressed, the appropriate response is no such information exists with respect to that individual. By statute, that's all the DA's office can say. If only a particular document is under seal, but the case is not, then we can say that the document is under seal and is not available to the public. If a juvenile is charged with a crime, as a juvenile, we are legally prohibited from releasing the affidavit or providing any information about the case. Often reporters will ask for public documents associated with the case, such as an affidavit. Again, as long as it's not suppressed or sealed, it can be released. However, certain information has to be redacted. You have to make sure pleadings are carefully redacted to remove dates of birth, phone numbers, and addresses for anyone that is not the defendant. All social security numbers, driver's license numbers, juvenile names, sex and domestic violence victims' names, and any other information included in the document that might identify the victim must be redacted. The Colorado Revised Statute Book is our friend here in the DA's office. We often rely on it for sentencing ranges or to look up wording for a particular statute. When in doubt about anything on a case, I always go and ask the attorney handling the case. If that attorney is not around, I find somebody else that can help me that's familiar with the case. This is particularly true with sentencings. They can be tricky, and reporters often ask what kind of a sentence a person could face for a particular crime.
And since you are not an attorney,
Correct.
this is information that you have to get from someone who is an attorney.
Correct. Yes, to clarify. Yep. Some questions that I receive on a daily basis are, can we have an affidavit for this case? When is the next court appearance date? What is the possible sentence? Can we get a statement from your office or the elected district attorney? Our office does not release mugshots. Reporters have to get those from the Boulder County Jail or from another jail where the defendant was booked into. It's always okay to say to a reporter that calls or emails that you need more time. Don't feel like you must immediately supply an answer or information. However, keep in mind they have deadlines. If you need to call them back, ask what their deadline is. Sometimes you won't be able to meet it, and you can tell them you will try, but can't promise it. Most of the time, reporters will want more information than you're able to tell them. And you have to simply state, that's all the information I have. Sometimes you have to reiterate that multiple times. They will keep asking, and you just have to keep giving the same answer. The community doesn't want to hear a statement from a spokesperson, as myself. They want to hear it from the elected DA, and anytime the media asks for an on-camera interview, the DA should be the one giving the interviews or statements. TV media always wants a visual. I try my best to accommodate an on-camera interview, but sometimes it's just not possible. For TV, short sound bites work best. You want to try to keep the answers or statements to 10 seconds or less. Try to find out from the reporter ahead of time what kind of questions they plan to ask in order to prepare for the interview. Be wary of a reporter that does not give you questions in advance of the interview.
You're not assuming that they're going to give you their exact questions, but you're asking them to say, what subjects do you want to speak about?
Exactly.
And I'm bringing that up for two reasons. One, for clarification, and the other because we have spoken to reporters who have said, don't give the interview subject the exact question because you get canned answers.
Right.
But on the other hand, it is often important to give somebody an idea of what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
So that at least if there's facts and figures that they need to look up or law information that they might not know off the top of their head, they can be prepared.
Exactly. And a lot of times reporters will want statistics and stuff as well, so we have to have time to gather that information.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. So our office does post many items on social media, and sometimes the press will pick that up. We currently post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On a rare occasion, our office could do a press conference. It's my job to coordinate the press conference with the media. The elected district attorney, along with other partners involved in that particular case, will speak with the media. The office can approach this in one of two ways. We can tell the media that we have a statement, but will not be taking any questions, or we can tell them we have a statement and we'll take a few questions, but that we won't be able to say much more than our statement. If they ask a question we can't answer at the moment, we will tell them we'll get the information and follow up later.
That way, at least they know whether they'll be able to ask questions at all.
Yes, correct. If we don't want to answer a particular question, we state that we are not commenting about the issue or the question at this time.
And it's not a question of whether you want to answer it, really. It's a question of whether you're allowed to answer it.
Exactly. So the office will never get into evidence in a case, which is what a lot of questions will be about if you have told the media about charges or possible sentences, or if they've received the affidavit already. So the press also likes the office to speculate about various things. Don't. Always be in control of the press conference. When you're done, say thank you, and that's all the time you have for today. The worst thing that we could do as an office when dealing with the media is releasing information that should not be provided to the public. It could damage someone's reputation, the prosecution of the case, a victim, a witness, etc. Our office makes sure we have all these safeguards in place so that we do not release information that is prohibited. Dealing with the media can be a difficult job at times. However, being the public information officer is a very important job. It's important to build trust in the criminal justice system as well as the community and be transparent. We are committed to reporting the information accurately.
Can you talk a little bit about the difference between your position, which is a public relations position,
Right.
and this job outside of an elected official's office? So if you were not working for government,
Right.
what are the things that might be different that you're aware of?
Okay. Let's see. So if I wasn't working for government and if I was working outside, so if I wasn't working for government and I worked, or
Let's say you worked for a big corporation,
Right.
or you worked for a small private company,
Mhm.
something that had nothing to do with the law or the
Right.
government.
right.
Are there some things perhaps that would be more relaxed or might be different?
Right.
Because in your position, you're not called a public relations person.
Right.
You're called a public relations official, which means you have certain official responsibilities
Correct.
that you probably wouldn't have if you were
Right.
the director of public relations for a grocery store chain,
Right, or
or a
something.
nonprofit or something else. Anything you can think of that might
So
be
I think
different.
that the main difference between what our obligations are, we have a lot of ethical obligations that we have to follow, whereas if somebody in the private sector doesn't necessarily have those ethical obligations they have to follow.
So there's a little bit of a tighter rein on what you're allowed to say.
Exactly.
And what,
So-
and obviously, if you're working in public relations, your job is not to lie to the public if you're
Right.
not an official. But there's a little bit more latitude for leaving things out, I think.
Exactly.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Okay, and in some ways more, you're able to say more.
Exactly.
You can
If you're-
speak more
yeah.
in the defense. If something goes wrong, you can say, no, our CEO didn't do this, or in a way that you really can't speak to a person's guilt or
Exactly.
innocence in your position.
Right.
Anything you can think of that might be useful for someone who's studying communications, who thinks that they might want to go into a job like yours?
Okay. What could be useful? So you more just so if you're looking to get into let me think about this, because this is not a job that I ever expected I would get into. So I didn't ever expect to be working in this role. However, if you're looking to become, going into public information officer duties or a public information role, I think it's important that you have good communication skills, you're open, you're responsive to the media, you work hard, and I think just, I want to say finding your groove, but that's not what I...
Yeah, that works. Are there any things that you wish the media knew or did better for those people who are going to watch this who want to go into that side?
Yeah. So I think that from my experience of working with the media can be very difficult at times, and they can almost bully you into getting the information that they need. I think there's a proper way to work with somebody in a professional way where you can take out the intimidation or the bullying part of it. I do have a lot of respect for reporters that don't take the hard stance. They're nice, we work to a resolution, they understand our position and we understand their position and come to a happy medium.
So being nice is good advice no matter what profession you go into.
I think so, yes.